What up, everybody? Ace has been here. It's been a little while. Where have I been? Well, I've been dying on this bed. This bed right here. From COVID. I still have COVID. You can you might be able to hear a little bit of my voice, but I feel a lot better now. Don't worry. I got it last week on Monday, fun fact, I was actually planning to stream Mortal Kombat 11 that day. Um, but I felt sick, right? And then, yeah, the next day on Tuesday, we figured out that it was COVID, and I decided to just rest, try to get better. My throat's a little bit messed up. It hurts when I like swallow food and water and all that. I still have a cough, as you can see. So yeah, I'm still sick, but I'm getting better. Stay safe out there. I did get my COVID infusion, and I'm still not vaccinated. I do plan on getting vaccinated when I can, but still got I got my COVID infusion. It's helping. Stay safe out there. That's where I've been. As far as the Mortal Kombat 11 finale, I hope to do that soon. I don't know when. I wanted to do it before Detroit Become Human finale on New Year's Eve when we finish that game, but it might be pushed back to after. I'm really sorry. I'm very inconsistent with the gaming series that I do. You got yeah, Yandere, which takes a ton of time, which I'm already inconsistent on because it's an incomplete game for one, and then two, I'm not good at it, and it just takes a lot of time. So y'all can understand why I'm inconsistent with that one. But the other two, there's no excuse. So yep, today we got a tier list. Now, what last time we did one, I did Love Shinny Beyond Other Delusions characters. It's been a little while since I've done one. Today we're doing Pokemon games. If you don't know anything about me, you should know that I'm a big Pokemon fan. I'm a big weeb, obviously, but I'm a big Pokemon fan. I mean, like, you know, right there, Mega Evolutions from X and Y. There. Mega Evolutions from X and Y. None of the Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire ones, but X and Y Mega Evolutions poster over there. Now, if I haven't played them, I'm going to go based off what I've seen, what I know about them. And I want to make one thing clear. I don't think a single Pokemon game is a bad game. There's bad Pokemon games, yes. But I don't think there's a single bad game from Pokemon. I think all the games are good games. They're serviceable. Some of them are the greatest games of all times. Some of them are just games that exist. So I'm going to go through each and every one and rate them. What am I looking at? Now then, we got the original 3 games. All these games are these games, and then yellow is obviously the enhanced version of all of them, right? So red, green, and blue. Here's my opinion on Gen 1. Gen 1 was really good as a first gen. But if it released now, it would be remembered as mediocre or one of the worst. I'm not even gonna lie. But anyways, Gen 1, its story is lackluster. All it is collect the gems, which the gems' main purpose is, you know, be like a story progressor, stop you from progressing too fast. That's what gems are for, and they tie it into the story, obviously, but only Gen 1 and Gen 5 really tie gym leaders into the story because Gen 1 is collect the gym badges, become champion, stop Team Rocket along the way. Nothing really else there. You know what I mean? So the story's quite lackluster. The Pokedex original 151, my favorite Pokemon Mew, is in said Pokedex, but it's not even accessible unless you do glitches in the game. It's not accessible anywhere unless it's an event or a glitch. And then on top of that, there's some very lackluster mons like coughing, wheezing. Golbat and Zubat are notoriously annoying and don't become really a fan loved. They're not even really fan loved. They're just liked because Crobat exists, Gen 2 onwards. So, yeah, I get they're literally a middle of the road generation. It'll all be C tier. Now the reason why it's all C tier is because there's no version exclusive legendaries. Then you got and by the way, by version exclusive legendaries, I only mean like the main ones on the front. You know what I mean? And if there is none, well then just not gonna be taken into account. Then you got Yellow. Yellow improved a little bit on the base versions, but not much. So I do think that it's also C tier. But it's cool they introduced falling Pokemon for the first time with your Pikachu. Your rival had an Eevee. You know, it was a little bit different, but other than that, basically the exact same game. Now you got Now you got Silver, Gold, and Crystal. These are the exact same games with different legendaries on the front, and stories changed a little bit because you go catch the legendary on your cover main game, then you can get the other one in post game. So there's no version exclusive legendaries. Crystal's just Suicune because I don't know, they didn't start really doing legendary trios as the main thing till Gen 3. And I think in this one you obtain Suicune throughout the story. The story is very slightly different. And I like. And the thing is, this story is built off of Team Rocket's resurgence that fails. There's no real climax to the story. The story's pretty boring. I find it very boring playing through Johto. Obviously, especially in these old ones. At least it had a theme to the region that stuck to visually. The rival was really cool. I did like the rival in these ones. But the evil team is something we already know before, and just worse, you know. And the story is really just, hey, Team Rocket's back, and this guy stole Pokemon. Nothing really of substance here. Another very middle of the road generation for me. Now I know that's gonna get a lot of hate because it has the best post game. Because you get to explore Kanto, but the main thing is Kanto is just free to explore. It's not required to beat Red. It's not required to do all that. While all these other post games, while it's not required to do any of it, you feel obligated to. Here you don't feel obligated to explore all of Kanto and go beat Red because, well, if you're playing these games for the first time, you don't even know Red's there unless you go do all these things that are just given to you right off the bat, and you don't need to do in a set order or anything. I like linear storytelling, and that's the thing Gen 1 and Gen 2 fail at, is it's not linear, and there's no real story. Now, Gen 3. The first games we actually get a story, and we actually get two evil teams, Team Aqua, Team Magma. Magma exclusive to Ruby, Team Aqua exclusive to Sapphire, and both are in Emerald. Thing is, you fight Maxie 3 times and Archie 1 time. Kind of weird. They basically made Magma more prevalent that way. And Emerald, very, very weird. But, Ruby and Sapphire. Alright. Story's pretty cool. I like the story. Couldn't care about the rival any less. Like, the rival's just okay, middle of the road. The regional Pokedex, some very lame mods, some really cool ones. But my biggest problem with Gen 3 is the mid. It's Mihoen's the least fun to explore. I'm just being honest. Yeah, there's a lot of cool things like the Reggies and all that. The one thing I will get straight across right quick is obviously I like more than all the other two, but since it's its own version, you know, it's kind of being graded separately. But Ruby I like more than Sapphire because of Groudon. I like Team Magma more than Team Aqua. But anyways, it's supposed to be half land and half water. I understand that. You can go find the Reggies, which is really cool, right? I hate the water traversing, though. I don't like surfing on water for long periods of time. You know what I mean? And then on top of that, right, there's the currents, right? Which the currents is cool, but it's so annoying. Like, I just hate the water half of the game. Like, the last half of the game where it's all water, I just hate that side of the map so much. Ruby gets a C tier for me. I like Team Magma more. Sapphire gets a D tier though, because a worse evil team in my opinion. Rivals the same, everything else about them the same. Evil team and exclusive legendary switches. The biggest problem is the traversal. Emerald, way better story. The story is way better. Probably the best story so far that we've covered. But everything else about it's the same, but you do get to see. You can get Groudon, Kyogre, Rayquaza, the 3 Reggies. Obviously, you got the Lugia and Ho-Oh event, the Deoxys event, the Mew event. You know, if you're to play them on a ROM today, you can get those with a few little packing in some the event items and all that. So, Emerald, I'm gonna put in C tier just because the map problem, but high C tier. Like, that's why I'm putting it ahead. The order doesn't matter, but this, assume this game's the best game in that tier, right? Then you got Leaf Green, Fire Red and Leaf Green, right? The remakes of these games, and they just look better. Nothing else really changed. No real story added other than the Sevi Islands, which is pretty cool. But other than that, it's just better looking games. So for that reason, I'm putting them in C tier as well. It has the same issues, just looks better, and you got the Sevi Islands, which is more to explore, but nothing much really goes down over there. Now you have Diamond and Pearl. This is where I started. And yeah, I got a little nostalgia with Diamond and Pearl. Diamond and Pearl's Pokedex is the worst Pokedex in the series. Not because of the new Pokemon they added, but because of the horrible balancing. There's literally only 2 fire types. The fire type Elite Four member has 2 out of 5 of his Pokemon being fire types. Over half his team is not fire types because of how little fire types in there. Not every new evolution, not every single new Pokemon is included in these games. In the regional Pokedex. That's insane. Why are you going to introduce all these new Pokemon and not have them be exclusive to the region in the regional decks? It's so dumb. But the story is the best one so far. Team Galactus is one of the best evil teams. Cyrus, tough fight. Cynthia, my favorite champion, the toughest champion in the entire series. Gives me nightmares of PTSD every night. But that Pokedex is so horrible. I mean, you rock with the same, 10 mods every single time. Most of the time when you play through Sinnoh, that's why when I get BDSP, hopefully for Christmas, I'm going to rock with a different team than I normally do. But, yeah. I prefer Dialga over Palkia, but I love both. They're B tier for me, simply because of how horrible that Pokedex is. The story, though, good. Barry, though. I hate Barry. I don't like Barry. I'm going to be honest. Barry's a good rival in the fact of you want to beat him. You know what I mean? You hate him because he's so annoying. But outside of that, I just don't like his character. You know what I mean? Dawn, though, as a rival, or Lucas, if you play as a girl. Really good rival. I like that. Story's really good. Another big issue with Gen 4 is the slow HP bars, obviously, which was super annoying. But I looked around it. They're both B tier to me. They would be A tier if that regional Pokedex wasn't so horrible. Then you got Platinum. Platinum has the greatest regional Pokedex of any game taking place in Sinnoh. Yes, even better than BDSP. I've seen the regional Pokedex for BDSP. It is worse than Platinum's, but better than Diamond and Pearl's. And Platinum, to me, is the best Pokemon game ever. Why? It has a phenomenal story. They changed so much. The Distortion World is great. Right? They address the Dex issue. The Dex is way better. One of the best in the series. Right? And then you got... Then it still has the difficulty. Right? In fact, if not more difficult, because you have the Distortion World battle with Cyrus, which is notoriously a run killer, especially as Gyarados, if you play Nuzlocke. Right? So, Platinum is one of, if not the most difficult game in the series. Has some of the most difficult battles in the series. The Dex problem's no longer a thing. The Fire type Elite Four member actually has 5 fire types. In the story, was improved leaps and bounds with Giratina and the Distortion World. And then so to me is the best Pokemon game. Not the best story, but the best Pokemon game overall. That's great music, great scenery. Post game's pretty good with the Battle Frontier and all that. So, Platinum, S tier games. And in my opinion, no game tops this as of now. Legend Arceus more than likely has a chance when that comes out, but we know nothing about it. Oh, well, we know things about it, but it's not on here and we haven't played the games. Alright, you got Heart Gold, Soul Silver. These games are slightly better than Gold, Silver, and Crystal, but not much better. They're B tier for me. You got the events, obviously, but I'm not really counting events here with the Sinjo Ruins. That was really cool, but Heart Gold, Soul Silver has following Pokemon for the first time since Yellow, and the thing is, this is the first time we had following Pokemon for all Pokemon available at that time. Executed beautifully. It was amazing. The Johto is one of the most beautiful, stunning generations as well on top of that, right? It's just the story's horrible. And the level curve, horrible. Like, it just does not have a good story. The level curve is horrible. Kanto, again, best post game. But, doesn't fix any problem it had, there with the non-linearity. Which it's a remake, but still, you can change some of these things, make a better story or sometime, make them sequels. That'd be a pretty cool idea, which they did in Gen 5 with Black 2 and White 2. But, yeah. They suffer from the same problems, but they're better because of following Pokemon. It looks better. So, yeah, I'm putting them in B tier. Now you got Black and White. Now, Black and White, Gen 5 as a whole is commonly hated on. Right? Mainly because of the anime. The anime is fucking horrible. The dex is, okay. It's not one of the best. It's the largest dex out of all of them. Black and White gets hated on, though, for its regional dex, as it's only the Unova Pokemon. And I think that's blasphemy, because it's literally the same with Kanto. But it's like, oh, but it's, it's Kanto's the first gen, which, yeah, that's true, but you gotta remember, Black and White was serving as a soft reboot at the time for Pokemon, right? So I completely understand that decision. And Black and White has the best story in the entire franchise. By far. Black and White story is so amazing. Like, I played this game for the first time on a ROM on my tablet, which is over there. Like 3-4 years ago, right? Around Sun and Moon, right? And I loved the story. The story was amazing, the best Pokemon story. Now, to me personally, most people agree it has the best Pokemon story now, but nobody really paid attention to it around the time I really gave it praise, right? Now everyone really agrees Gen 5's got the best story, but, back then it just got shitted on constantly, right? I love this story. To me, it's one of the best video game stories of all time, but that's just me, but I know basically everyone agrees with me that it has the best story. I think the dex is solid. I like Reshiram more than Zekrom, but I love both. N is the best written character in the series. Team Plasma is my personal favorite evil team. It's just because of how evil it is. And it makes me enjoy it. The gym leaders get involved in the story. Like, dog, you don't beat the champion your first time you play the games. You thwart Team Plasma's plans after you beat the Elite Four, which was just a crazy plot twist. And then you go back and become champion in the post game, which is amazing. The post game, there's not a ton. All it is really complete your regional Pokedex, get your national Pokedex, catch legendaries, tornadoes. I think Black and then Thundurus and White. I'm not sure which one's which, and then get both in your party and go to the Abundant Shrine, get Landorus. Then you got the Swords of Justice, and that's it. And then obviously this is actually the first game to have the Shiny Charm too. But yeah, Black and White, amazing story. A tier. The biggest thing hole in the back is the regional decks, and you don't get any of the old Pokemon till post game. But I love it. And then on top of that, with the post game, you actually could get Kyurem. I forgot about him in the legendaries. And then you got like half of the map becomes open to you now, right? Like Black and White, amazing games. I love Gen 5. The anime can go kill itself, but you know, Gen 5, the games peak. Like the best story they've ever written. Black 2 and White 2 serve as sequels to Black and White. The story is obviously different because it's literally a direct sequel, like 2-3 years after. However, it's still a phenomenal story as it ties in with Black and White, but you don't understand Black 2 and White 2 without playing Black and White. The mascot's Kyurem. My problem with these games is one, the Ghetsis fight is not as difficult as it was in Black and White. Black and White were surprisingly difficult games. They were pretty difficult for me. But Black 2 and White 2, while I haven't played them, don't look as difficult. Ghetsis fight doesn't look as difficult. Team Neoplasma is not as cool as Team Plasma to me, as it's more about their resurgence and waking up Kyurem, but no one really likes Kyurem, you know. N is still a really great character. This is as close as you can get to a dating sim in Pokemon as you can have a quote-unquote partner in the games, which is really cool. The Dex issue that they had in Black and White, which I don't think was an issue, was fixed in Black 2 and White 2, which again, I don't think that was an issue, so it didn't really bother me, but this is why a lot of people pick Black 2 and White 2 over them. I don't like Hugh. I like the other rivals in Black and White. I didn't discuss that. Black and White has some great rivals. Black 2 and White 2, I don't really care for Hugh. But he's a funny character trying to find Purloin. They get a nice B tier to me. I don't think they're on the level of Black and White simply just because Black and White to me has a better story. But Black 2 and White 2 is great. Obviously has the iconic Rosa, which is basically the mascot of Pokemon Masters now. You know who Rosa is. The basic female trainer. I'll pop a photo up. That's Rosa. But yeah, Black 2, White 2, very solid games from what I know. I could be completely wrong. My opinions could be completely changed if I were to play these games. Now you got, after these 3 straight masterpieces, well, not, if you exclude Heart Gold, Soul Silver, right? So Platinum, Black and White, and then Black 2 and White 2, less of masterpieces, but still pretty good, right? So still very great, right? Got these 3 great games. What do they follow up with? The worst games in the series. X and Y, F tier. They're the worst games in the series. They're way too easy. I love Mega Evolution, but it was way too imbalanced. None of the major boss fights besides the champion fight, your 1v1 fight with Karina after the 3rd gym, which is just a 1v1 Mega Lucario fight to get you a free Mega Lucario, right? And the final Lysander fight. All of that's it. That's all the Megas you face in the game, dog. All. Why aren't the gym leaders using Mega from at least like the 4th gym? If they don't have a Pokemon that can make evolve, then fine. Give them one that can. You know what I mean? Like, why is the 8th gym leader at least not have a Mega Palmasnow, but no, his 8th is Avalugg? Why doesn't the Elite Four use Megas? They're the Elite Four. Diantha's the easiest champion. Like, these games are so easy. I breezed through in like 16 hours. At least takes me a day to beat almost every single Pokemon game I have ever played. In terms of time. Like 24 hours game time. So, X and Y was just horrible. The anime peaked. But yeah, X and Y just horrible. They're solid games, but they're just solid games at best. But in Pokemon standards, they're just horrible games. Like my team I used was Charizard, Greninja, Absol, Tyrantrum, Talonflame, and then Lucario. You get 3 of those team members were given to me. At your starter, the Kanto starter, and then Lucario, half my team was given to me. Half. You know what I mean? Like they set you up to win. Really good. You get 2 starters. Like it's just so easy. Xerneas and Yveltal have insanely high catch rate in these games. Like, man. And then the thing is, Pokemon Z had the potential to be amazing. It had the potential to be a masterpiece. It has no post. X and Y have no post game whatsoever. Z, imagine it getting a post game. Imagine if you could go to a power play in Pokemon Z. Like Pokemon Z had great potential, but no, they don't do that. And then you move on to Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, which we'll get into in a little bit, right? But X and Y was just a massive disappointment. Yeah, Mega Evolution, probably the best feature they've ever added into Pokemon, but they're not going to come back, besides like Kalos games and maybe Alola games, you know what I mean? After that, they're probably never coming back. And then, it's just so much wrong. So much wrong with X and Y. It's a cramped region. Lumios is beautiful. I do like the art style, but it's just, man, it was just horrible. They got Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. I'm actually playing my first playthrough of Omega Ruby right now. Well, not right now, but I'm playing through Omega Ruby on my 3DS for the first time ever. And right now, I've just beaten the 3rd gym leader. But from what I know, they're solid games. They're easier, which I don't really like. But it also, the way they made it easier, tied in with a slightly better story with Latios and Latias. Steven is very hard in these games. You got the gyms, which are slightly different, which have tripped me up, especially that second gym. That tripped me up so much. These games, they're solid. They're solid games. They get to go in like C tier as well. They're very solid games. I know my friend Platinum personally puts them in S tier. He says they're one of the best, but I haven't finished my playthrough, and it's Hoenn, and I'm not a big fan of Hoenn. Now you got the Alola games. Now the thing is, I don't know copy Pokemon Diamond, right? But I didn't get that till recently, like a year ago, right? All the Pokemon games I've played up to this point have been on ROMs. The only Pokemon game I actually owned was Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Explorers of Time, which I've still never beaten. Never even evolved in that game. Like I don't know what I did when I was little. Yeah. I set myself up for failure on that one. Anyways, Sun and Moon were the first games I bought and pulled it like from Sun and Moon onwards. I have bought every single Pokemon game. Not necessarily the side games, but main series. Bought every single one. Right? And then BDSP I'm more than likely going to be getting for Christmas. Right? So, yeah. So, I own all of these besides Let's Go Pikachu. I have lost it. But, I never played it, so I don't really care. Well, you'll understand my opinion of Let's Go games in a minute. But Sun and Moon, amazing. Sun and Moon was great. At least they rebounded from X and Y. But Sun and Moon, Alola is probably the second best story, or third best story. It's a top 3 story in the entire franchise, right? Sun and Moon and Ultra Sun and Moon. Both great stories, both very different stories. Really cool. This is the game that introduced Ultra Beast, which, unpopular opinion, I kind of like the Ultra Beast. I love the fact that it changed it up with, instead of the gym challenge, you have, you got freaking, island trials, which those were pretty difficult at times. They're pretty solidly difficult games. They're not too easy, not too hard, They're really good games. The dex is nice. I love the Alola forms are great. The only thing I don't like, Z-moves. I wasn't a big fan of Z-moves. Z-moves, while great to look at and all that, didn't care for them as a staple feature like Mega Evolution, right? Alola regional forms though, I loved the story. Great dex, great. Like Gen 7 was amazing. I loved the hype season for it. So, yeah. I personally like Solgaleo more than Lunala. I can't remember my original Sun team because I played it so much that it's the only game I've ever completed the Pokedex on and got the shiny charm. I have actively shiny hunted in this game, gotten a lot of shinies on my Ultra Moon copy, because of my shiny hunting in Sun and Ultra Wormhole shiny. So we'll get to that in a bit. It was really cool. The post game of Sun and Moon was alright. I mean, I loved Necrozma. It was just a mysterious Pokemon appeared out of nowhere. The Ultra Beasts, again, I kind of like them. Do I care for them? No, but I don't hate them like a lot of people do. So yeah, Sun and Moon, A tier games. They're up there with Black and White. Bada bing, bada boom, bada bam. Alright. Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Now the thing is, right, I like Solgaleo more than Lunala. And they decided to do the fusion thing. And instead of actually direct sequels like Black 2 and White 2, what they did was actually freaking alternate dimension, alternate reality. That's why the story's different, right? The story is different slightly. These games are about mainly Necrozma, which is the final of the Light Trio, Solgaleo, Lunala, and Necrozma. I like Dawnwing's Necrozma more than Duskmane Necrozma. This just does not look good. This looks good. This does not. Well, the story, amazing. I would say slightly better than Sun and Moon's. That Ultra Necrozma fight, well, hands down, the hardest fight in the entire series. I don't want to hear. That fight is so difficult. Took me so many attempts. I never completed a Pokedex on Ultra Moon, but I got awfully close. I'm pretty sure. You could get all the legendaries in the game. Obviously, there's some version exclusive, which was very annoying, but still could get all of them. It was still a very enjoyable game. The post game was second best post game because you got Team Rainbow Rocket. You fight all the evil team leaders up to that point. You go in Team Rainbow Rocket's hideout, thwart their plans. Very tough battles. Some really cool story moments with Colress and Getsus, especially for Team Plasma. Then you got going to hunt all the legendaries in Ultra Beast and Ultra Wormhole. Shiny hunting that way was amazing. Like, dog, these games had it all. They are also A tier. They're not on the level of Platinum to me, but they are A tier. They're amazing. Probably the second or third best games in the franchise, with ease. After this, though, we're expecting a new generation or a remake to sit up. We're expecting Gen 4 remakes. I've been waiting for Gen 4 remakes since 2016, dog, so I'm so hyped we got them. But, instead, we got Kanto remakes. We thought, let's go Pikachu and let's go Eevee. To appeal to the Go crowd, to bring them to the Switch. Yeah, the Pokeball Plus, which you got Mew. Now, the sad story is, if you don't know, I had lost my Switch. I finally got it back, but all my data was reset. I'm not going to go into why. That's a personal matter. But, yeah, I had to replay through these Switch games that we're about to get to. And I no longer have my Mew, sadly. But, you know, you had the Pokeball Plus, which you could play with. You had a Mew inside of it. Let's go Eevee, let's go Pikachu. You know, catching system was different. The story was different because you had a different rival and all that. But other than that, it still kind of suffers from the same thing, right? It's literally the same story, just replace some characters, right? Visually, I think this is the best looking Pokemon game we've had so far. I love these games' graphics. But the story I don't care for. I don't really like the catching mechanic. I remember my team for the most part, which was the partner Eevee, Shiny Beedrill, and Shiny Pidgeot, which I sadly don't have no more because, again, my data got reset. It makes me so sad. But I love those. I love this team. And then after that, I don't remember my team. I think I had a Snorlax. I think. But, yeah. Mega Evolution was in these games, obviously, which is pretty cool. But if I had to be honest with y'all, I think these are the second worst games in the series. I just don't like the catching mechanic. I don't care to really replay through them. I mean, yeah, I'm replaying through them to get back to where I was, but they're better than X and Y, but not much better. I just don't care for Kanto, right? And the thing is, right, these ones, right, are the first game, so you can kind of excuse them a little bit. These ones are really cool, right? This one has the same thing. This is the third time we're seeing this fucking story, right? And it's gotten old. The dex is bad. The reason why it's bad by this point is because we have a ton of Pokemons, some of which of these old mons can now evolve, and we can't even evolve them in these games. So it's like, God, like, come on now. You know what I mean? Like, at least here you can kind of evolve some of them or whatever. Like, you know, just Heart Gold, Soul Silver also got that go for it. Glycar can evolve into Gliscor now and all that. You know, these games, you can't evolve Onix into a Steelix if you wanted to. You can't evolve Scyther into Scizor. You know what I mean? They did add Meltan and Melmetal to the games through Pokemon Go, which was pretty cool. I like Meltan, I like Melmetal. But other than that, and insane graphics, story gotten old, and catching mechanic I don't care for. So they're the second worst games in the series. Now you got Sword and Shield. I've had to play through Shield twice. I've done it both times, beating the game, beating the DLC. I'm not going to include the DLC. Why? Because theoretically you can do these DLC before the post game, right? There's a level scaling in the Isle of Armor, not in Crown Tundra. Crown Tundra is more meant for post game, but you can still go there before you beat the game. And then on top of that, you had to pay for basically the post game. You know what I mean? So it was like, so I'm not going to include it because it's technically separate but same. But Pokemon Sword and Shield, right? Boy, were these games mediocre. The story was alright. The Pokedex, obviously, I didn't really care for the national text cut. I didn't really care about that. You know, what a lot of people did. Then you had the new Pokemon, which a lot of the new Pokemon are okay. None of them are really amazing. There's a few great ones, though, that I absolutely love. I don't like Colossal, and I wanted to use Roly-Poly on my team, but I ditched it once I found that evolution. I was like, dog, nah, fam. You know what I mean? But I do love my original team that I sadly no longer have. My second team is still pretty good, cool. I'm playing through Sword as well right now. I never finished Sword, but I'm playing through Sword now as well. I like Zamazenta more than Zacian. I know that's a hot take. But story, it's just okay. I really like Hop. Hop's a very well-written character. The evil team's the worst in the entire series. Team Yell's not even an evil team like that. It's just a crazy fan base. Leon, though, one of the most difficult champions. Why? Because your team's probably going to be around the mid 50s. His team is in the early to mid 60s. Both times I faced him, both times I was left with 2 Pokemon standing. Yeah, he's a difficult fight. Probably the second most difficult champion of all time, right? But other than that, the games are pretty freaking easy. You know what I mean? I do like how there's no Elite Four. It's just a tournament instead. But the story I don't really care for. Besides Hops, character development, he's a really well written character. Post game, non-existent if you don't include DLC, which we're doing here, right? The DLC do impact my ratings a little bit of these games, but not much to where they're gonna move anywhere in the tier, right? Because I'm just gonna consider DLC separate. Post game, not much to do other than get your legendary and stop Swordward and Shieldburp, and battle Hop, who gets the other legendary. I thought that was really cool of incorporating both legendaries in the story, and they're not trying to kill each other, and your rival gets the other one, which was really cool. I like that. Like, keep in mind, X and Y are the only ones that I think can be considered solid at best. I think Let's Go Eevee, Let's Go Pikachu are okay at best. Everything else I think is good, great, amazing, masterpiece, right? So Sapphire I still think is good, but I still think Sword and Shield are the third worst games in the series. I think they're the reason. Now, again, I think they're good games, but compared to the rest, these are just worse. And then if you include the DLC, maybe better than Sapphire. You know what I mean? But to me, second worst games in the series. I hope y'all enjoyed. These are my opinions on all the Pokemon games. What are y'all opinions? Let me know in the comments below. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.